let's unpack this feeling, that sort of jolt you get when you maybe catch a glimpse of something small, gray, skittering across your kitchen floor.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, that's, more than just a minor thing. It can stir up a really significant sense of unease, maybe even like genuine fear.
Oh, definitely. It's quite primal, isn't it? That reaction to such a tiny creature. And while that personal anxiety is very real, if we sort of shift focus to the world of business,
Right.
particularly places dealing with food, well, mice take on a whole different level of importance. It goes way beyond just being startled.
Absolutely. Think about restaurants, food factories, even your local grocery store, anywhere handling food products, really.
Yeah.
Mice aren't just like a nuisance there. They pose a critical risk. The hygiene, they create major headaches with regulations.
Oh, the regulations.
And they can seriously damage a business reputation. You can just imagine the impact, right? Hearing about a rodent problem where you buy your food.
Exactly. And well, this brings us right to the heart of what we're discussing today. We're going to dive into a pretty novel approach to this age-old challenge, TrapX.
TrapX. Okay.
It's a system that uses smart technology. We're talking artificial intelligence, machine learning, basically to make mice control more effective and efficient.
Okay. So our goal for this deep dive is to really explore both sides here. There's that personal fear, which, many of us get, and then the very real practical needs of businesses for effective and ideally, maybe even humane, mice control.
Right. And we'll look at how TrapX is offering a modern tech-driven solution in this space.
Sounds good. Where do we start? The fear factor.
Yeah, let's start there. That fear factor. Musophobia, that's the specific term for the phobia of mice. It's surprisingly common.
Really?
Yeah, and it can cause, considerable distress for people who have it.
It's more than just sort of not liking them then. It sounds like it can lead to genuine anxiety. And, without getting too deep into the psychology, you can kind of see how it might stem from maybe historical links to disease or just that feeling of an unwanted guest invading your space.
Precisely, that sense of intrusion, that violation of your safe space. Now, okay, if we contrast that very personal, often quite emotional response with the practical concerns in, say, the food industry, the stakes are just totally different. It's less about a shiver down your spine and more about, very real risks to the business itself.
Right, totally. For a food business, even one mouse sighting, wow, that can trigger a whole chain reaction of problems, can't it?
Absolutely.
We're talking potential contamination of food, which could make customers sick.
Yep.
Then there are the fines from health inspectors.
And the regulations in the food industry are understandably incredibly strict. Food safety is just paramount.
Has to be.
And rodents, they're known carriers of various pathogens, so businesses simply cannot afford to ignore that risk. They have to show they've got effective pest management in place.
And then there's the reputation damage you mentioned earlier. In today's world, with instant online reviews, social media, a single report of rodents can spread like wildfire. It could just crush a business's image, erode customer trust. Getting back from that, that's a long, hard road.
Which, naturally leads us to think about the limitations of, the old ways, traditional methods.
Of nap traps, sticky traps.
Exactly. Those often require manual inspection. Someone has to physically go and check every single trap to see if anything's been caught.
Ugh.
That takes time, and let's be honest, it's not exactly a pleasant task. Plus, there's the whole issue of what happens if a trap isn't checked quickly enough.
Right. If something's caught, you don't want it sitting there.
Precisely. And this is where TrapX comes in. It's described as an AML-powered attachment for mice traps.
Okay, so just to clarify, it's not necessarily a whole new type of trap. It's more like a smart upgrade you add to existing ones. Is that right?
That seems to be the idea, yes. It looks like technology that integrates with current trapping methods. The core function is its ability to detect when a mouse has actually been caught.
Okay.
And the really key feature, it sends an immediate alert. A notification. Right away.
Instant notifications.
Yeah.
Okay, that immediately tackles the whole issue of having to constantly check traps.
Exactly.
Whether you're, dealing with it at home or trying to manage a busy restaurant kitchen, That's a huge saving in time and, well, effort.
Absolutely. And the description also mentions a humane trapping system. Now, the source doesn't give loads of detail on this.
Right.
But that instant notification aspect, it certainly opens up possibilities for a more, let's say, compassionate approach.
Okay, I see where this is going. This is interesting. If you get that alert immediately, and let's say you're using a live trap, not a snap trap, you could, in theory, get there quickly. You could potentially relocate the mouse humanely, far away from your house or business.
That's a definite possibility, yes.
So while the source maybe doesn't shout catch and release as the main goal, the speed of the alert makes that a much more practical option if that's what you want to do.
It allows for it. It moves away from, trapped animals being left unattended for long periods, which is definitely a concern with traditional traps, live or kill.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A more responsive way to handle it.
It suggests that, yes. The source also lists a few specific TrapX products. There's the TrapX ammo-powered mice trap itself. It's noted as eco-friendly, which is interesting.
Eco-friendly, okay.
Seems you can get it on its own or, bundled with a snap trap attachment.
Okay, so options there. And they also have a Traxure mice gel.
TrapX and Traxure mice gel, yeah. That sounds like exactly what it is, a supplementary product designed to, lure the mice in more effectively, make the trap more appealing.
Right, boost the chances. Makes sense.
Precisely, enhancing the process. And then there's something called Atticus, the complete long-range smart rodent detection bundle.
Attixa. Long range. What does that suggest?
Well, the long-range part hints that this might be geared towards larger areas, maybe bigger properties or more likely commercial settings. Warehouses, factories, that kind of thing, offering a more comprehensive sort of wide area monitoring system.
Gotcha. More industrial scale, perhaps. And there was a statistic mentioned, wasn't there, about rats?
Ah, yes, that stood out. TrapX has successfully caught 1,287 rats and counting. Now, obviously, our main focus here is mice, but that number gives you a pretty tangible sense of the technology actually working out there in the real world. And its apparent effectiveness against, similar kinds of rodents. It shows it's not just theoretical.
Yeah, 12,287 is.
Yeah.
That's quite a few. It definitely provides some concrete evidence of the system working in a related context.
It does. So when we sort of pull back and look at the bigger picture, it really seems like TrapX offers a definite simplification of managing pest control.
Absolutely. It seems to remove a lot of the guesswork, the stress and anxiety that comes with traditional methods.
Yeah, the constant wondering.
You're not always thinking, did it work? Do I need to check again?
Yeah.
You just wait for the notification.
Yeah.
It feels much more proactive,
right?
Less stressful.
It moves us towards that idea they mentioned, right? A smarter, stress-free solution for keeping your home rodent-free. Seems to fit.
Yeah, it really does. So, okay, let's try and sum this up. We've talked about how mice can trigger, quite significant fear for individuals, that musophobia thing. We've also looked at the really critical need for effective pest control in industries like food service, where it's all about hygiene, rules, reputation.
Huge stakes there, yeah.
And then we've examined how TrapX comes in as this tech-advanced solution, using AI, giving instant alerts, which not only boosts efficiency, but interestingly also opens the door for potentially more humane practices like quick relocation.
It really does tie those threads together, which brings up kind of an interesting thought for you, the listener, to maybe ponder. Well, just how is technology like this reshaping how we deal with really common everyday challenges?
And how we deal with, mice primarily, it seems, but with nods to broader pest issues.
Indeed.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the TrapX website for today. It's definitely an interesting approach, trying to bring AI into our homes for something as age-old as catching mice.
It certainly is, a blend of familiar problems and very new solutions.
So thanks for exploring TrapX with us. We hope that gave you the clear insights you were looking for.
Yeah, hope that was helpful. Until next time.
Bye for now.